Hello and welcome back to the Kung Fu book review. It's very hot here in the UK, so if it's a little bit windy in the background and my poster here blows around, it's because I've got every door and window open. So welcome back, and today we are going to be talking about Chinese Gung Fu, the philosophical art of self-defense by none other than Bruce Lee, and in this case, adorable young baby Bruce Lee, right? This is one of his early books, and it's really cool, but it's really strange because it is before he really created JKD, so Jeet Kune Do, the martial art that he was famous for, and when he was still doing a mix of different traditional styles and Wing Chun. But the stuff that he's teaching in this book is like super traditional, like Chao Ga, like Hung Ga style, like southern Chinese Kung Fu, but like big style, you know, with like really, you know, noticeable cat stance and the sort of the big, like over the top hooking movements. Yeah, it's just very funny to because, you know, later on, of course, he had this very fluid, you know, synthetic style that he became so famous for. But this is not this. So my overall assessment is, if you're a big Bruce Lee fan, then it's probably worth picking up, and you can probably get it really cheap, to be honest. So because it's a very old book. It is from, when is it? Yeah, first edition 1963, third edition 1988, right? So you know, it's an old book, it's very short, it's like, you know, 97, 98 pages, and honestly, it's not that great. Like, but if you're a big Bruce Lee fan, then, you know, you can probably get it quite cheap and it might be worth it. So what's it got in it? So let's talk about Bruce first. So if you know nothing about Bruce Lee, then I don't know, where have you been hiding in the martial arts cave of the world? But, you know, Bruce Lee was a you know, Chinese Hong Kong martial artist, who he did a bunch of different stuff. He started off with Wu style Tai Chi, actually, with his I believe grandfather, but was famous because he did Wing Chun, right? So, and he was, you know, clearly did learn from the sort of the Ip Man school, and, you know, supposedly learned directly with him, and then went on to come over to the West, and you know, he did boxing, taekwondo, dancing, and then mixed it all up, created his own style called Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. You know, did movies, had a load of private students who were good, you know, top level guys of karate, boxing, all sorts of different things, and, you know, was a bit of a celebrity. You know, did Enter the Dragon and various other ones, and then tragically died early, right before his, you know, as his star was just rising, you know. So he's also really some of the first guy that sort of mixed up martial arts, right? So, and, you know, sort of I think that a lot of the guys, even in the MMA community, you know, credit him with sort of beginning that process. You know, he was ahead of his time, right? You're clearly a very talented martial artist, and you know, also was quite philosophical, but we don't have the full, in this book, you do not have the full, you know, him at peak ascendancy, right? We're not full Bruce yet, you know. We're baby Bruce, you know. He's still growing, right? And I think this book kind of reflects that. But the seeds are there, right? So you know, you get stuff about the author. You get some stuff by James Lee as well. James Yim Lee, who I've also read in some of his books. So he was another Chinese guy that was in the sort of Bruce Lee generation, but more external background. You know, used to break a lot of bricks and stuff. So you get some background by him. You get Ed Parker, who's also very famous, you know, karate guy. You know, introduction by those guys. You get some of the philosophy, a little tiny section about different styles of martial art. Nice little feature is you get this is in the days before standardized, you know, Mandarin characters were typed. You know, so you actually get little hand-drawn adorable Chinese characters, which is lovely, and the traditional characters as well, because it would have been from Hong Kong, southern China. So there's a nice little artistic point there. The best bit of this book is the key points. So he does a little bit about, and also you get these crazy old school, like almost like it's a, like a hidden manual, like the old style of Kung Fu manual, The best bit about this book is the small sections on philosophy and key points, but they are a handful of pages. You get the basic theory of, so you get Tai Chi Yin Yang theory presented as well. Again, it's quite well written. But again, that's 2 or 3 pages, right? You get some basic stances, all sorts of different stances. Cross-leg stance, horse stance, cat stance, etc. You get some basic warm-up exercises, how to stretch, how to train the leg swings, sort of all basic Shaolin style stuff. You get pictures of Bruce in his young, fresh-faced Bruce with his Kung Fu trousers and shirt on. But then the majority of the book is really not great, and it's a whole load of these stills of training partner A punches and training partner B goes into a cat stance and does a little hook hand, and then gua-cha backwards, and it's just very surprising, because if you've read his later books like the Tao of Jeet Kune Do and stuff, all of that's gone, right? And it's all about the theory and the principles and the alignments and how to move and the philosophy. But this is very much the old school style of book with just, you have a whole page with just one picture and one line on it. So the vast majority of this book is not useful. You finish off with some stuff about the Tai Chi theory, a little bit about different Kung Fu styles and what's internal and what's external, and then some more sort of stills of various famous people that he's trained with. Overall, I would say, it's a short interest book if you are into Bruce Lee, right? So, and it's a sort of a glimpse into him before he'd really formed his core ideas, and he was still invested in the sort of the more traditional Kung Fu approach, right? If you're doing JKD or if you're into it, then it's probably worth checking out, and if you can get it cheap, I would say. But overall, it's it's not his best work. So, solid maybe. All right. Let me know if you want me to review Bruce's other books, because he's got better stuff out there. Or anything else in the maybe Jeet Kune Do. I've got lots of Wing Chun stuff ready on the back burner. Please like, share and subscribe. Best of luck with your training, everyone, and I hope that the weather improves here in the UK, because it is so swelteringly hot. See you all soon. Bye.